The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The MMDA is looking to bring back checkpoints in the NCR in order to enforce restrictions on unvaccinated individuals. MMDA Chairman Benher Abalos told One Balita Tanghali that this is to check if those traveling have vaccine cards to show. Abalos adds that inspections will be done randomly.
These are just to check from time to time kung meron ba tayong mga vaccination cards, etc. etc. Remember, hindi lang NCR ngayon na nagsusurge, kasama ng ating mga kapitbahay.
Health officials are urging those with mild COVID-19 symptoms to try and manage their symptoms at home. This is to help free up hospital space for moderate to severe COVID-19 patients. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro with the story.
With COVID numbers rising at an alarming rate, health experts acknowledge that infections in the country may soon overshoot those of the Delta surge last year.
If we don't do enough intervention, this will actually peak to more than what we saw in Delta last September. There's about 26,000 new cases per day.
The UP pandemic team projected new daily cases to rise up to 20 to 40,000 by the middle of the month. As it is, vaccine expert panel member Dr. Ranjin Solante suspects that the recent run for paracetamol and analgesics may be driven by infected people who are still untested.
So I think it's really more on an indicator of enormous number of people having COVID mild symptoms.
What this means, Solante says, is that they are experiencing symptoms that are not serious enough to bring to the hospital, so they resort to self-medication. Doctors now advise that if you suspect you have mild COVID, go on self-quarantine for 2 weeks so as not to spread it around. One can also buy self-administered antigen test kits, so long as these are approved by the Food and Drug Administration. It's a departure from the previous policy of government-regulated quarantining for asymptomatic and mild COVID cases.
Mga tumutulong pa, mga teleconsultation or telemedicine, pwede po sila makipag-connect sa mga doktor nila. Kasi po, para ma-reserve naman yung mga kama talaga dun sa mga kailangang ma-hospital.
Doctors that One News and One PH spoke to say this shift is meant to ensure that the healthcare facilities are available for more serious and severe COVID cases.
If we are going to compare the Delta, no? Kasi talaga ang Delta, talagang baldado mga healthcare facility noon. Ang daming namamatay noon na hindi nakaabot sa hospital, no?
But in the end, the key is for people to be responsible and not do anything that would spread the virus. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro, we are One News.
A group filed a petition to declare a no-election scenario for this year's elections. However, the COMELEC sees no compelling reason to postpone the polls. Jen Calimon reports.
Due to the ongoing surge of COVID-19 cases, the Coalition of Life and Democracy filed a petition to the Commission on Elections to act now for a no-L or no-election scenario for the 2022 national elections. But the COMELEC has yet to set a date to tackle the issue.
A petition is filed, they must act on it. Okay? So when the Commission will have to act on it, and when it acts on it, they will tell us kung ano ang gagawin nila sa petition namin. And so far, wala pa eh. Okay? Kanya, we ask for this early setting, urgent motion to set petition for hearing.
The COMELEC says they will tackle the matter in an unbanked session. But COMELEC spokesperson James Jimenez believes there is still no compelling ground to postpone the polls.
I don't see how. The only way those things can have any effect is if the COMELEC lets them have some effect. They can file all of the petitions they want as long as the COMELEC doesn't grant the request to delay the elections, then tuloy ang halalan, hindi tayo madidelay.
Just last week, the PDP Laban Scusi faction filed a petition to reopen or to extend the filing of the certificates of candidacy that concluded last October 8, and for ballot printing to be put on hold until all pending issues concerning candidates and political parties are resolved. Matibag added that the poll body must review their deadline for the benefit of the electorate. According to PDP Laban's Vice Chairman and Senatorial Bet Lutgardo Barbo, Cusi's action is their wing strategy to postpone the elections. It's also an obvious indication of their greed for power. The COMELEC says Cusi's petition will also be discussed by the ANBank. But for Jimenez, the Constitution must be followed and respected.
How can you ignore the Constitution? And if you're saying that the Constitution should be ignored simply because you want to stay in power, then you have a big problem, right? So, yeah, it's not surprising, number one. But number two, it's not something that should even be considered.
As of now, the COMELEC has yet to issue the final list of candidates for the 2022 elections. But the poll body says guidelines for campaigning will not change amid the surge in COVID-19 cases. Reporting for News 5, Jen Calimon, we are One News.
And the COMELEC also deferred the decision on the PDP Laban petition, seeking to reopen the filing period for COCs. Poll body spokesperson James Jimenez said the ANBank is expected to decide on this matter next week. Meanwhile, the petition to postpone the 2022 elections was not discussed in today's meeting. Jimenez says this may be taken up in next week's ANBank session. Here's a quick look at today's other top stories. The Tourism Department has suspended the accreditation of Berjaya Hotel in Makati. Berjaya was also ordered to pay fines equivalent to twice the rate of its most expensive room. This comes on the back of the issue involving a certain Gwyneth Anchua, who was able to skip mandatory quarantine to attend several parties. Inflation has slowed to 3.6% in December, down from the 4.1% print in November. The NEDA says this is the lowest monthly inflation rate for the year 2021. And the Trade Department insists that assures the public that there is enough supply of paracetamol amid high demand. The agency is also expediting deliveries and coordinating with drugstores to limit purchase quantity. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.